Hello, everybody. I was going to do the countdown and realized I was live already. And it's on a delay, so I don't know if anybody's actually here yet or if it's just me talking to myself. So I will wait until I see some numbers. And just a reminder, by the way, I don't say this enough. If you are watching on anything other than YouTube, such as, say, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, uh, I don't think on IG. I don't think I'm streaming on IG, but or anything else that I just don't know exists. Go ahead and go over to YouTube so I can see your comments because I can't unfortunately see them until they are on YouTube or until the replay. My darling wife is nice enough to get my coffee ready for me. I appreciate that. Mr. Matt Woods, first in, sir. How are you today? Comics by the Bay. I gotta get me some of those stickers, sir. Soon. I'm gonna reach out to you, by the way, sometime this week, so we can schedule that thing. Do you broadcast on other platforms? Usually on my couch. It's elevated, but I wouldn't call it a platform. I do have my chair downstairs. I don't know if that counts, Matt. E-Man, how are you, sir? I don't know if I'm a villain. Let me see. Honey, would I be more of a villain or a hero, would you think? A hero. Okay. I feel you, Iman. I'm a hero, though. I had to double check with my wife. Psychedelic, sir. How are ya? How are ya? Trev. Joe, I apologize. I missed the show last night. I have to catch you on the replay. I was actually doing some grocery shopping. Because like everybody else in North America, we went to the fridge. I've been using some leftovers all week, and like, oh, we're out of leftovers now. It's like, oh yeah, we have to go get that food stuff, huh? So nice, nice run to Trader Joe's and Costco. I did a twofer. Thank you. I appreciate that, E-Man. Little guy is sleeping, but I think I hear him getting up from his nap. He had a little scare this morning. What's that? Yeah, that's fine. We don't have any other milk right now. Thank you, though, honey. Stores were open after 9. No, but putting stuff away is after 9. I can tell you, especially when you go to 2 stores. Now I got feels from that. I promise I will watch the replay and comment, and of course, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't know what we're talking about the comic book crowd on Joe Anachronic Comics channel. I think everybody here knows that, but in case you don't, you should check it out because it is a nice little panel show. It is a great show, I should say. What am I saying? A nice show. See, that's why I need the coffee. Yeah, no, psychedelic. I had gone to Costco about 7:30. Was home by 8:45, and then by quarter after 8 rather, and then I had to run to Trader Joe's and was unpacking, and we still wipe everything down and whatnot. And I kind of passed out after that. I'm not gonna lie. That's okay. I'm just happy to help out because it was definitely a good charity. But congrats to the winner, and I look forward to the box next year too. The coffee's here, so we can start. Thank you, honey. Got my Super Mario mug today. One of my Super Mario mugs. It's a little hot, and I'm excited because we're trying a new flavor today. My mom had some Costa Rican blend, so we'll see what that is like. Not my favorite. Not gonna lie to you, it's not my favorite, but it's all good. It's still coffee. Best one I've watched, and they're always great. Trev pumping it up. Now I feel bad I missed it. Well, why don't I tell you a little bit about a little bit about what's going on this week. You might see I didn't put out a video. I've actually been editing a video. Last night, Master Blaster and I got into. See, now I know I have to watch that before. Aren't you guys doing something next Friday on the 6th? This war between you guys has to end. I don't know. Yeah, so you might know I didn't put out a video this week. I shot one. I just have had no time for editing. I'll hopefully have that up later today, and I do want to do Bearded and Cole's challenge, um, preferably sooner rather than later. Hey, Durs, what's going on, sir? Um, yeah, it's been a busy week. I didn't take off this week, so it was off Monday, half day yesterday, but I was trying to play a lot of catch up for work, and what else? Well, the good news is I'm a little bit ahead. The bad news is, we're closed Monday. I already called off for Tuesday and off for Friday. So I'm probably going to be behind before the end of the week. So that'll be good. Balance, which I'm sure is great. Hey, Brian. Yeah, I definitely have to catch it on the replay. My dude's got this playing in the background. Okay, cool. All right. And by the way, I am almost done with some of the AOKs. Hey, Seth, congrats on your win again, by the way, sir. Um, I'm almost done with my AOKs. Next will be on to part 2 of them, and I know that you don't know what I'm talking about because I've been very secretive about it. I started them in November, but my iPad, as you know, kind of died on me somewhere in between, so that really put me behind. Chef has to get New Year's Eve dinner groceries. I have to leave early. Okay, Matt. Happy New Year to you, sir. Durs ain't getting nothing done at work today. Yeah. So I did get a chance to actually read um, Seth one back to back. Oh wow, Mr. Comic Vet, how are you, sir? By the way, I think everybody here does already, but if you don't subscribe to the Comic Vet, please go ahead and do so. He is on the verge, I believe, of 1,000 subscribers, or did he just hit it? I don't know. Either way, just subscribe because it's a good show. I watch it occasionally. Um, I say occasionally just because there's so many YouTube videos out there, but the vet is one I always look out for. So go ahead and check him out if you don't already. He's back at 1K, but let's keep him there. Yeah, I was at 190 for about 2 days, and then I went back down to like 188. But I think I'm at 190 again. I can't keep checking the numbers. It drives me nuts. So let me show this here. I did get to read a little bit. First thing I read this week was All Out Avengers #3. I know you might be saying, Phil, that came out a little while ago. I know. I'm behind. We've been over this. Catch up. I am enjoying this series. First of all, I would never get sick of watching Captain America punch one Red Skull, let alone, like, what are there, 6 of them on the cover? Something like that. All Out Avengers. Art, I think it's Greg Land art, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Greg Land art. Um, it's good. It's Greg Land's. Greg Land is one of those artists that if you know his work, if you're familiar with his work, then you know what you're going to get. And it's, in my opinion, pretty much 99% of the time always good. His She-Hulk is a little iffy in this, in my opinion, but that's, again, just my observation. All Out Avengers, in case you weren't aware, is kind of the Avengers answer to Nonstop Spider-Man. It's supposed to be a more action-centric comic. They are doing a very interesting story in this, where you have them each issue. Just it feels like you're entering the end of a story with one of their major villains. This one happens to be, or so you would think, Red Skull. But after the action has kind of died down, it kind of like shifts and, like, what's happened in the last 48 hours. And they've seen that people can't remember it. Iron Man's records, his computer recordings, are inaccessible from the last 48 hours. So whatever happened in the 2 days prior to the All Out Avengers series is just basically affecting all of these things. So there's a little bit of a time leap I think issue 4 is out already, and I'm definitely checking it out. Again, it has been one of my more favorite Avengers reads, at least in the past few years. All out Avengers. I'm currently not reading Avengers regularly. I'll pick up an issue here and there. I like Jason Aaron. I had to take a break from Avengers. And I think his run is just about wrapping up. I don't think it's something I'll jump back onto, at least not in print. I guess this is a spoiler for the video I have not released. I did have the opportunity to catch up on Wolverine, which I was several months behind. Hey, Doug, how are you, sir? And Doug, this video that I haven't put out yet that I'm referencing, part of this, I'll give you guys just a little bit teaser. We have been saying Doug and Dave's name wrong in perpetuity of YouTube. And I know that word just I said, that sentence is very clunky and doesn't make sense. A little bit of coffee, a little bit of tiredness. So that which to you people. But yeah, we've been saying Doug and Dave's name, and I'm not saying it now because I don't want to give it away wrong the entire time. So that's one of the topics that's discussed in this video, which I hope to release later today. I also had a little unboxing. Midtown had a very big sale, and I didn't know about this until Doug pointed it out. So that Midtown portion of that sale, I blame entirely on Doug. It's his fault. But on the plus side, very good deals. And one of the things I took advantage of is my LCS had a snafu and somehow unsubscribed my pull list to Wolverine. I don't know how this happened. It's been addressed, and I trust that it'll be corrected because I've been collecting Wolverine as long as I've been reading comics, basically. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, since I've been seriously reading comics, really anything other than Ninja Turtles. So we'll say, I would say I started serious collecting when I was about 13, so roughly 30 years ago. Yeah, because around the death of Superman is when I started jumping into things. Yes, I am that old. So yeah, I was a little shocked when Wolverine just disappeared off my list. I did play catch up, and I have to say, I really enjoy the series. I'm not going to go issue through issue with you. I'll show you what I read and just kind of give you my general impressions of each storyline. So I had been left off like in the first part of a 3-part storyline, I believe. So I went right into issue number 22. I have to say, Adam Kubert, for the most part, at least on the covers, which is a hint to, I guess, a criticism to come, has been really good on this. Here's issue 23 as well. Let me do that the proper way. With Danger hoisting Wolverine and Deadpool above her with 2 swords. By the way, a lot of people are... this shouldn't be anything new to you. Danger's appearance in Astonishing X-Men has been spiking lately because in the Deadpool advertisement or the teaser that we saw, Ryan Reynolds is reading her first appearance while on the turlet, while on the throne, as they say. And yeah, I don't think it's happening. I am going to talk about that in a future video that I bought as a kid. Did not care for him since he interfered with the Hulk's battle with Bigfoot. I have to tell you, Psychedelic, you are missing out, sir. And I would encourage you to catch up on your Wolverine. Larry Hama has classically been my favorite run. More so up until he started regressing. If you remember, he at one point had no nose and just basically was a feral beast. But there were some interesting stories right after he lost his adamantium. Ben Percy, I do have to say, really writes an exciting Wolverine and has really brought that kind of action back into the title. And to be honest with you, I think Wolverine kind of needed that. I mean, there's been some interesting stories over the past couple of years, but in my opinion, I mean, you've got a lot of hits, but a lot of misses. action-driven story with a little bit of intrigue. I like that he kind of gives some servicing back to the Wolverine of the 90s, I guess you could say. You could see Maverick is very prominent in this series, and I like that he's more of a merc, really, in his appearances. I'm going to come back to this in a second. Master, how are you, sir? Um, so I did read, again, Wolverine, then issues 24 and 25. This was a Judgment Day tie-in. I have not been reading Judgment Day. I don't want to say I regret that. I'm going to be reading it digitally. I just tried to avoid the tie-ins, which is a nice little throwback to Brian's discussion regarding Dark Web this morning. At the risk of sounding corny, the only tie-in I will really look forward to is the James Tynion, Tiny Onion. Okay. I know I forced that. Matt Woods, everybody. You're reading the tie-ins, though. No. The only parts of Judgment Day I've picked up, Durs, is really anything that's just kind of crossed over into a series I'm reading already. And yeah, it's been mostly the X titles. I have to say that I don't think this tie-in, or Judgment Day, I should say, derailed any of the series I'm reading, like King in Black did, especially with Sword. But yeah, Doug, you too, sir. Matt Woods to you. Believe me, Phil, I read a lot of Wolvie when he was in the 70s and 80s and X-Men in his own series. Yeah, I'm there with you. And look, he's definitely, at the risk of sounding a certain way, I can't think of a word for it right now. I understand it. I think there have been some great stories in the past couple of years. I can tell you, Origin, I did enjoy. I did enjoy some of the post-Origin stuff, but there have not been a whole lot of stuff going out there. Don't read any of this new stuff. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, Joe. It's kind of I'm Marvel and DC. I kind of go back and forth with, are some of the new titles worth a read? There definitely have been some great new stories. At this point, though, and I think after the Fall of Krakoa comes out this summer, I'm going to be shifting. I think most of my Marvel hauls, I'm pretty much there with DC already, to digital. It's just space wise, it works out a little bit. It's something that I'm definitely going to be, I should say, I'm going to be looking more into in 2023, just kind of consolidating my collection. Let me see here. Yeah, Master or tie-ins. Read the main 6 titles. It was pretty solid. Yeah, like I said, I'm probably just going to read it digitally at this point. You know, another problem I have with, and I've had this for a long time, with anytime you see these big cataclysmic, stories where, okay, well, the Eternal is threatening, the Celestials are threatening the entire globe. I feel like it's automatically, well, let's throw the heroes into this. One observation I've had, and this goes back all the way from when I was a kid reading Onslaught. If you've got this big creature attacking New York City, let alone the world, yes, the heroes, of course, are going to come out, but the humans or the regular people aren't just going to turn away. Like, let's see the U.S. Army and Air Force and everything. Look, even in Independence Day, they tried to nuke the thing first. Whereas with Onslaught in particular, and I'm speaking to that because I've read Onslaught, I know that's very old at this point. I haven't read, again, Judgment Day. Let's call the army out there to try to bring out Onslaught first. Then, throw your heroes in. Because I think in the end, not only is it more realistic that the humans would have a reaction, but it's also leads more to the power of the villain, if that makes sense. In my opinion, of course. I'll probably be doing that too, right after the show. I do have some organization to do, so it's good to do that while we're doing this. Enjoying home is the X-Men cartoons. Durs, will have to have a talk one day, because I could recommend, maybe I'll do that into a video. I'll dedicate that one to Durs. I'll do a Wolverine story recommendation. It'll be focused on the stories that have not been adapted that you may or may not know. Psych, I wanted to look at your comment. My chat just jumped. I also wish I had his 90s comics in Marvel present. Yeah, and to be honest with you, Psych, that's what I kind of really had started reading. And yeah, I could tell you one of my favorite covers. One of the things I think I told Madam this, Master, um, and one of the covers I'm going to focus on for the Bearded and Cold Challenge was Marvel Comics Presents. It was, I think, Master, you just showed the original pages to it. I can't remember the number. It was when Wolverine fought Venom. Very cool covers. That wasn't Barry Windsor Smith. It was Sam Keith, and I love Sam Keith's artwork. I know a few people do. I saw a video recently where they went into a little retrospective with Sam Keith. You could tell the coffee's kicking in, by the way. And apparently he hated his style because he felt like he was trying to draw too much like Todd McFarlane and less like him. And he had some sort of wrist injury, I think. I'm moving on to digital and DC as well. Yeah, you know what? I was kind of disappointed because I really wanted to jump on some sort of a sale with the Ultra plan or whatever, and they didn't do it for the Ultra. They did it for the regular. So I might have to wait until I get my bonus for that. And that's not going to be till April. I don't want blood and drum. Come on, guys. 2023. Give peace a chance. And, yeah, I got to ask you, Matt. Where did you get a pitchfork? Maybe I'll give you this because I know you have goats and everything, but if I wanted a pitchfork, I'd probably have to like grab one from a museum or something. I don't know. Yeah, like I've got to read it digitally and figure that out. Please no C4 on my show. Aquaman. um, so let me get back to this here. Wolverine 24 and 25. Judgment Day tie-in. Yeah, that's what I figured, Doug. I know he lives on the farm, but still, pitchfork, come on. And that looked like an old pitchfork. That didn't look like one he just got from Walmart or Pitchfork Emporium that morning. But I mean, what do I know? Yeah, Judgment Day tie-in didn't derail the series. One of the very cool things about this, Ultra was on sale. I didn't see Ultra on sale. That's annoying. I don't know. Maybe you're going to make me check it out afterwards now, Joe. One very cool thing, and one of the best aspects, I have to say, to come out of the Krakoan age, and Psych, this is something you should definitely look into. If you remember back to Ten of Swords, there was this character, Solemn, who Wolverine, in a way, escaped hell with, and then was supposed to face off. I'm not going to give any kind of spoilers, at least that I can remember from Ten of Swords, but Solemn's popped up maybe one or two times since. Very cool character, and I think that these particular two issues, I honestly think cements him as the perfect foil for Wolverine, more so than Sabretooth. I mean, to be honest, look, at this point, Sabretooth has always been a great villain. He's kind of, I think, lost a little bit of steam over the last couple, I'm going to say over the last decade especially. I mean, I didn't like when he became an X-Men, and they wrote around that. That was, of course, in the late 90s. Then they brought him back for a terrible version of not X-Force. Was it X-Force? I don't know. And he was a villain again, and I like that they finally have him back as a villain. But Solemn, if they keep up the momentum with Solemn even after Percy is done, I don't know if he's going to be off the title. I presume when the Fall of Krakoa comes, they're probably going to do a new team and everything, new writing and whatnot. Yeah, I hope that Solemn kind of survives that. The kind of drawback I have here, Adam Kubert, I'll say this, has been doing a great. Hey, Cole, thank you for saying hello, sir. Adam Kubert's been doing a very good job in this title. I've not always been the biggest Adam Kubert fan. I love the Kuberts. Adam is one way or the other with me personally. He's taken some leaps and bounds, especially with the covers on this. However, sometimes in the artwork, in his artwork, the action gets a little bit lost here. I'll give you like an example over here. And I know that I'm not showing the best angle, but I don't want to damage anything at this point. And I use my phone to stream, so I can't do like a screen grab. Now, this particular issue is the 25th issue of the run, so they do have an interesting backstory. I shouldn't say backstory, second story in the back of the issue with some pretty great artwork, I have to say. And I have to get back to work. I'm going to regret it later. Please be safe. I'm going to try to jump on your test stream if I could remember. 7 o'clock is a little rough for us because that's usually between dinner and when we feed my son, but I'll give it a shot. I have to say the artwork on this one is really good. It's a very good kind of abbreviated history of Wolverine. And yeah, it was enjoyable. Percy's writing it again. Most of it story is kind of takes place in a bar, which is great to see Wolverine in a bar. I think that's kind of when a lot of the Marvel characters softened, is when Quesada kind of pulled back, not so much on the bar, but not letting the characters smoke. But that's just me. And I'm going to come back to this in another moment here because there's an observation I have to make. Is it with this one or is it with X-Force? Let me just do a quick scan. Yeah, it's more with X-Force, but I'm going to come back to this in a second. So I did read Wolverine 26 and 27 as well. 27 is a variant, very cool variant. The story has nothing to do with Sentinels, to be honest with you. Yeah, good story. We're finally starting to see what appears to be a little bit of a heel turn with Beast. If you've been reading the X-Force series, you know that Beast hasn't been best member of the team. But again, I'm loving Percy's writing, except for one aspect, which I'm going to get into right now. X-Force number 33 was another read I had here. Good story. This is the conclusion to the X-Force Judgment Day tie-in, which, to be honest with you, didn't quite really feel like it was a Judgment Day tie-in. Kraven was attacking Krakoa, and they had a little bit of a scene with... they keep referring back to Judgment Day because you have, as Krakoa is under attack, Wolverine is stuck in the I think they call it the Shadow Room, which is basically the Danger Room, with Kraven in the Savage Land, basically. So it's a fake Savage Land in the middle of this big attack. So he's trying to call for backup and can't quite do it. When Francis Logan joined the X-Men in First Class, love that scene. Yeah, no, that was a great scene. And you know, too, I was thinking about that kind of dichotomy that you have in the movies where they haven't strayed away from the smoking and the drinking Wolverine, whereas the comics, they were like, no. And I understand why, but I think they got to bring it back. Especially, I don't think many children are reading X-Men or Wolverine titles. These Wolverine titles, although they're not anything that you see like in a silver coin or anything like that, you know, there's some violence to it. Oh, I should mention, by the way, in that Wolverine Judgment Day tie-in, it is a reference back to Ten of Swords, and you have the Hell Bride returning, which I thought they left Solomon in a good position, but that doesn't matter because is it this issue he comes back? Oh, here we go. Yeah. So you've got X-Force. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to tell you the one aspect of Percy's writing that I don't like for Wolverine. So I'm going to warn you. I'm giving you some spoilers for how these three different story arcs end. So these two, you have Wolverine and Deadpool and a little bit of Maverick going back to the mansion that has been abandoned since the Krakoan age, which, great premise. Something I've always kind of thought about is like, well, they just left this prime real estate in Westchester. They come upon Danger, who's kind of built her own X-Men. There's a big fight, but Wolverine it kind of ends with Wolverine like, no, we're going to leave them alone. Okay, so that's step one. So Wolverine's Judgment Day tie-in. You okay? Again, Ben Percy. Great story. Um, Again, spoiler for the end. Wolverine and Solem have a chance to take out the Hellbride. Wolverine instead lets her go. Okay. Then you jump over to X-Force, the wrap up of the Craven storyline. And how does it end? Well, Wolverine bests Craven. He could kill him, but he's like, no, he's learned his lesson. So you have three kind of Wolverine stories, pretty much back to back, where he's been in the position of, no, we have to let them go. We're better than that. I understand that, and once in a while that works. And though I don't think he should have killed or attacked any of the villains at the end of these here, excuse me, just change up how you're going to end the story. Mr. Ben Percy, if you're watching this and you're not, hey buddy, my little guy's up from his nap. He's looking at me from his crib across from me, in the room across from me, I should say. Yeah, just figure out a different way to end it. My observation. X-Force 34, very good read. Very, very good read. They're taking Wolverine. Actually, no, Wolverine is not in this one. Yeah, if you're reading the other series, if you read the other parts, by the way, with Beast as this kind of villain turn, he's kind of doing some things with Wolverine that are questionable at best. So Wolverine is kind of off the board as far as X-Force goes. But one thing, and this is a key that I think has really elevated Percy's writing, especially on X-Force. I really do think this is the best X-Force run of all of the X-Force runs. Sage is fighting alcoholism. She's getting drunk at the lagoon every night. First of all, they made Sage an interesting character. Sage was not a character I was big into. I read the first volume of Extreme X-Men, wasn't familiar with her, then familiarized myself. I was like, okay, she's kind of like an Oracle character, like what Oracle is to Batman. But she's still in that kind of role, but they've put an interesting kind of jump on this, and you really kind of see how everything going on with X-Force is affecting her. And this is how you write a good story about things like alcoholism. It of course naturally would have a little bit of that demon in a bottle vibe. And of course, whenever you're talking about alcoholism in comics, I think that it's natural for one to kind of say, hey, this is kind of like this. That being said, you got to pick this up. Psychedelic, I'm telling you right now, if you were a fan of the X-Men in the 90s, specifically X-Force, pick up this one. It's definitely a strong one. Okay. That was everything I read. I'm not going through my pickups because that is going to be in that video that hopefully is going to be released today. I'm kind of halfway done with the editing. The only pickup I'd like to share with you, I won a prize from CGC early in December. And it was a prize to me. I thought they kind of were going to stick me on because I hadn't heard anything since I won it. CGC was doing like a 12 days of giveaways, and I won day 7, which was $150 credit. It's not a free membership if you're already a member. Kind of went through that because I thought, oh, I get a free year of membership. Like, no, we'll give you another credit. That's fine. I'll buy that. I'm going to call their accounting department on Tuesday, by the way, to make sure that credit hit because CGC gets a little shaky with that, in my opinion. I did win a hardcover copy. Well, I guess a copy because hardcover is the only way they have it now, I think, of the official CGC Guide to Grading Comics. It's about a $40 value, if I'm not mistaken. It's thick. There's like 350 pages. I got to assume a lot of this is fluff. I mean, Doug, I'm going to say this. It's probably not, it probably doesn't have much on the Guide to Collecting Comics, but I'm definitely going to be looking at this and really kind of going through the whole process. And I think it's going to help me really decide how or not how, but if I should submit a comic in the year to come. Because I do have a lot of key comics, but one thing I've learned, I have to say, from this community is, look, just because you have a key, it may not be worth submitting. I'll give you a perfect example. I have Miles Morales Spider-Man, the issue number 1, before he came over to this universe, I believe. Uh, Hot comic. I would normally not even hesitate to get that slabbed. I had started a little pile of stuff that I do intend to send to CGC, and I was taking a quick look at it. And I'm looking, and there's a good amount of spine ticks on it. I mean, look, I've read my comics. Okay, I'm not always pristine with them, especially back then. I didn't really. I don't think I was really into slabbing when I picked up that book, and I picked that up off the stands. So it might not be something worth slabbing. I don't know. I'm going to read this guide to find out. And a lot of them, because it's black, is color breaking. Um, oh, Doug approves. Took me a couple months to go through it. You know who I think really needs to put together a book on grading? Alan. Climbing Comics. I don't think he's been very active in the past year or so, but he used to do these little Instagram videos where he would actually take you through what he's pulled together as far as grading goes. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, his average was getting pretty good up there. And I think he just kind of ran out of things to grade. But ironically, I'm slabbing to sell. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, in my view, in my approach towards slabbing, I do have some great books that I want to preserve. Um, so that was kind of my main focus. I'm not a slab to sell guy, but I mean, who knows really? Because as I said earlier, I'm kind of been looking at how to slim down the collection. It's a long process for sure. Maybe it's something that I start considering because I do have some slabs that I just have. Um, I'll give you an example. Elon, formerly of Fat Moose Comics in Whippany, now of Mighty Moose Comics in the Seattle area, for my 35th birthday, gifted me some slabs, and I'm appreciative of that. And I'll probably never get rid of them because they are a gift from Elon. But like I have a slabbed Ultimate Vision number 1. Ultimate Vision was not a good series. I think he actually just had this stuff. He's like, I can't sell this. I might as well give it to him. But nonetheless, it's slabbed, and it's the kind of thing I think I've tried to look up the value for, and I don't even think it shows on the census. To be honest with you, I've got to double check that one myself. That was about a year ago. I checked. I did get. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I have not seen all of my family yet from Christmas. Um, being that my son is under 1 year old, just standing right now, and kind of mocking me from his crib because it's kind of like, oh, I have to lower his crib again. We're trying to be more cognizant of where we are, who we're staying around. So I had said to my family, look, I want to see everybody before you gather with other people because, quite frankly, things like RSV and COVID are scary. And that didn't work out. So I have not really seen most of my siblings, my dad and my stepmom quite yet. Hopefully we'll be able to work on that soon. So I know that one of my siblings, I have 5 brothers and 2 brothers, 3 sisters. So we decided to do like a Secret Santa thing this year. And I think one of them did get me something comic related, but I don't know for sure. So you'll probably see that in the next week or so. But my wife, my beautiful wife, did get me 2 of the BCW storage bins for my slabs. I put them in there already. I would bring them up to show you, but they're freaking heavy. Nonetheless, I think you know what they look like. I'm probably going to do a video just going through some of my slabs soon. If you have been watching my channel from the beginning, you may remember I did a series for a bit called Slab Stories. I might even bring that back in the new year. And that'll be, you'll see it is my point. Lastly, some of the things I wanted to really touch on for 2023. But they're always changing. That's why I think it's important to kind of keep abreast with it. But regardless, check out some of Alan's content if it's still up. I don't even know if he still had it because he did it mostly on IG, and it's really kind of incredible what he was doing with it. Some of the things I intend to do with my channel in this next year. I'm trying to get more regular as far as posting and editing goes, but understand that doesn't get in the way of family time or work time. That has not been an issue, but look, it's hard. I kind of try to make time for things. I am going to try to take a turn to some more artistic things and endeavors. One thing I think it's time for me to tell a little bit about my story as an artist, my art history, I guess you could say, how I started, why I stopped for a very long time, and why I started up again. And I'm going to actually do something on IG to kind of talk about that a little bit later today because it was something that I forgot to mention when I gave my thanks to Reggie this past Christmas. Um, what else did I want to touch on? I do want to go into more of a panel-like discussion show. Hey, buddy, little guy's here looking at the camera. um, maybe something focused. Hey, Funk, focused on X-Men. I'm thinking more of like a kind of a panel show. So whether you are currently reading X-Men stories or maybe not so much, let me know if that's something you're interested in because I'd like to do a regular panel type of show, maybe once a month, maybe once every other month. Don't quite know yet. I am going to be returning to live shows shortly. I've already had one volunteer for 7-minute stories, so I'll be contacting him sometime next week to plan out when we can do it. And again, if you're interested in 7-minute stories and being a guest and telling your story in 7 minutes or less, let me know. I'm always looking to talk to new people and whatnot. Other than that, let's see. We talked about art-centric shows. We talked about some ideas for live shows. Hopefully, I will be doing my CBCS unboxing soon. I need my wife's help to do that a little bit. Other than that, look, I'm just going to be focusing on my collecting, on why I got into collecting in the first place. I didn't get into collecting at the age of 13 with the thought of, wow, one day I'm going to talk into my phone and tell people about collecting. Or one day I'm going to win an award for collecting or anything like that. No, I did it for the pure enjoyment of collecting. And I think that kind of goes maybe towards some of my collection goals coming into next year, which maybe I'll expand on in a video. But long story short, as I said, I'm going to be slimming down my existing collection and my pulls, going more into digital with Marvel and DC, and trying to at least pick up more of the independent titles. And I say try to because it's a little tough with the LCS, especially, just kind of getting ahead of that. But with that said, before I leave, I just want to wish everybody a healthy and a happy new year. Whether you're staying at home with loved ones or going out, please be safe, make good choices. And yeah, I mean, set some good goals, even if it's just to relax more. My wife and I have a little bit of a tradition. Yeah, honey, can you get the bottle for me? I'm going to show you something before I go here that I think is really cool, but I could be wrong. And it's a tradition we started really when we were dating, right?
2015.
Yeah, when we first started dating. Our first New Year's Eve, we spent.
Oh, you were boyfriend girlfriend by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were dating. We spent in Morristown, Morristown, New Jersey, which I know, but I'm not just talking to everybody in New Jersey. I'm trying to spell it out. If you're not in New Jersey, you don't know what I'm talking about. It's the former headquarters of George Washington during the Revolutionary War. And it's a nice little kind of active town now. Happy New Year, Doug. Doug, you probably know what I'm talking about. They have something every year called First Night where it's like...
do they do that anymore?
I think so. I don't know. You buy a ticket and they have different activities going around.
That was cool.
All over Morristown you can just kind of go into. And we were Morristown when we were dating was a big part of our kind of story. It's where we met. We spent some kind of milestone meals and activities there and whatnot. And up until the pandemic came on, and up until the little guy came around, yeah, we would go there pretty often. Either sing a show at the theater. My wife surprised me there. We went to go see Alice Cooper one year. We saw Josh Gates there, shirtless, like right before the pandemic.
movies. We're just kind of hanging out. It's where we started this tradition where New Year's Eve every year, my wife and I will write down goals on a piece of paper, and we seal them in a bottle. And I don't know if you can see this note I have. Do not open until 2023. So tonight, sometime after midnight, I'll be taking this bottle, putting it in a plastic bag because that's key, and smashing this with a hammer. And we'll be reviewing our goals. My wife, do you still put them in a book, honey?
Yep, in a binder.
My wife actually takes these and puts these notes in a binder. So, we can kind of see what we've accomplished as a couple and everything. And this part really has nothing to do with comics. I should tell you that if you haven't figured that out, Mitch. But, we'll be doing the same thing after midnight. We don't really drink. That's why you see this isn't a sparkling apple cider bottle. I picked up another bottle of apple cider, but I think we might be hitting the wine later tonight. Plus, we have to finish the bottle between the two of us in the span of a few hours. I remember this was fun finishing. But so that's our New Year's Eve pretty much. We like to play it low key. We might go to my in-laws. I don't know quite yet. We still have to work that out. And after midnight, we'll smash this open and then put our goals to accomplish in 2023 in our bottle for next year. And this will go into our china cabinet until then. So I think that's a good spot to end. 46 minutes, not too bad. I want to thank you again for joining me. Happy New Year to everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy. And as always, peace, love, and comics. Take care.